So also here this evening, Congressman Doug Collins, ranking member of the House Judiciary Committee, who was not flying over the country. He was talking and talking and talking today, along with all the other folks that were talking quite a bit. So how did you feel about how it went today overall? Did you feel like the American people learned anything new in there?
No, they learned that staff members can talk to staff members and that members of Congress who should be there testifying, such as Adam Schiff, had a dereliction of duty and just left it to Mr. Goldman to testify. You made a point earlier, though. You talked about how polls were changing. It was a pretty interesting poll in the room today. The people who came to hear the presentations, by about midday, they started leaving. By the end of the day, there was nobody there. The problem is they don't have a case. They're trying to factually put it together, and they don't have it. But what we have found out is that this is just a partisan impeachment based on disputed facts because they don't like the president. And that's all this is about.
Well, I mean, you heard Congressman Heck. Obviously, the folks on the other side of the aisle from you believe that there were egregious abuses of power. What comes next in this process, and what can the American people expect? Because there was a suggestion tonight from Chairman Nadler that it's possible that there might be another hearing. Do you know what that would be?
No, there's not going to be another hearing. Chairman Nadler is unfortunately running roughshod over the rules with the direction of the Speaker of the House not to give us a minority hearing day. Frankly, I don't think the Judiciary Committee wants another hearing. The last two have been absolute disasters for them because they haven't made their case. In fact, if anything, they went backwards in their case going forward, and that's the narrative of today. When you had you brought in high-powered political consultants who who came to the committee or my committee standpoint were consultants who came in with political agendas. They've wanted to impeach this president for a long time. They finally feel like this is what they can do it on, and they had to do it now before Christmas because they want him to be impeached going into the elections. But I think, Martha, the interesting thing is here today is what we didn't talk about, and that's the Inspector General's report that came out today, that if you go back and look at the problems of the corrupt cabal that started this whole thing, that's where we got to look at it. There were 51, factual instances in the page files in which there was no backup. There were 17 inaccuracies, 7 that were all through all of the FISA renewals, and 10 that were new after the original FISA was applicated.
These are the kind of things that are problems. And this isn't something that I've heard people discuss yet, so I want to get your thoughts on this. So if you're a FISA judge, why aren't you asking for that backup? Why aren't you saying, I'm not going to sign off on this until you show me where this is coming from? Can you answer that?
I'm going to try to. This is where we've had a lot of us. There is something bipartisan here, Martha. There's a bipartisan concern about the FISA court and the FISA system, especially when, as we have now seen, it can be abused by partisan hacks in the Department of Justice, like Strzok, McCabe, Comey, and Baker, and others. So what we're having to see is there a need for another perspective, an ombudsman? Is there a need to refine how they have to give the information to the FISA judge? The FISA judge has to expect that he is being truthfully or she is being truthfully handed evidence. And what we have found out today from the Inspector General, that is not happening. So this is where the chairman and I could come together. We should have hearings on this. We should be talking about it because this is squarely within the judiciary's wheelhouse. But it just goes to tell you, for anybody listening tonight, this goes back. What we're suffering through today on impeachment started with a bunch of folks who thought they knew best. Page, Comey, Strzok, the rest of them who thought they knew better than the American people, and now they lied to get there.
Those individuals are high-fiving each other tonight because they feel like, what the Trump side always said they could prove was not proven, according to Michael Horowitz. So we'll see where it goes.
But reminder, Martha, Mr. Durham said he didn't agree with Mr.
Everybody said the Horowitz report was going to give Republicans what they wanted, and it gave it some of it, but not all of it. So we'll see what we get in Durham. Thank you very much, Congressman Collins. Always good to see you tonight. So coming up next, he has